You're listening to the Call Kent podcast, where Kent C. Dodds answers questions and gives insights to software engineers like you. Now, let's hear the call.
Hi Kent, my name is Rachana, and I wanted to know if it's important to test the code in service files and also in NGXS Store files in Angular, because I was under the assumption that testing the standalone components were enough, and I've been doing the same using Angular testing library. Uh, Thanks in advance.
And that was the call. Here's what Kent had to say.
Hey, Rajana, thank you for the question. So I should preface this by saying I haven't done any Angular since AngularJS. I don't know, it's been like 7 years or something like that. So it's been a while, but I can tell you from a principle standpoint, you typically want to try and cover stuff like your services and stores through the UI, that's used to run those things. So if you've got a service that's responsible for sending a network request and getting the response back, that's probably sending a network request and getting a response back as a result of a user submitting a form or clicking on some sort of user interaction. And so if you test the user interaction, then you're going to test the store as well through that process just naturally. Now, sometimes there are functions that are really complicated, and there are a lot of different permutations to them, a lot of edge cases. And so for those, I like to put all that complication in a pure function and then test the heck out of that. And then you still want to make sure you have at least one test that makes sure that the UI is calling into that code properly. But typically I'm just going to test the UI. And since you're using Angular testing library, you should be all set and squared away to do that. Now, another thing you'll probably want to keep in mind is that you'll want to test, or you're probably going to want to mock out network requests. And so I recommend MSW for that. That's Mock Service Worker. And it's fantastic for testing with mocking out network requests. And so if you're not already tuned into that, then I strongly advise that you give that a look. I think I'll link to the website in the notes for this, but it's mswjs.io. And so I'll give you a link to that as well. And with all of that, you should be pretty well squared away, whatever you're testing. Hope that helps. Have a nice day.
This has been the Call Kent podcast. Learn more about Kent at kentcdodds.com and get your own questions answered at kentcdodds.com/calls.